It's another 3 AM night of editing. Except this time, it's your 3rd day in a row with no sleep. You have school in 3 hours, and you have a test you haven't even studied for. Since you've been telling yourself you'll review everything once you put this video to render. That was last week. Today is also the last day you have to finish this video. 3rd cup of coffee, and you've kind of accepted your fate. I'm a slow-ass editor who's failing my test tomorrow. Now pause. It does not have to be this way, trust me. I was once in your shoes too, because that right there is a true story. So that's why in this video, I decided that I would put together the 5 methods that have helped me slice my editing time in half. I can confidently tell you that after learning and applying all 5 of these tactics, it now takes me 3 hours to edit a video that would have taken me 6 instead. Plus, I don't know if it helps, but my grades have kind of improved too. But before we get into it, I think it's useful to note that everything I'll be showing you how to do will be done using Adobe After Effects. But you can really follow any of these steps no matter what editing software you use. Whether it's After Effects, Premiere Pro, DaVinci, or even CapCut, all these methods are universal. But for the certain niche things I'll show you how to do, you may have to look up exactly how to do it in your own editing software. But trust me, it'll be there. Alright, let's get to the sauce. This is a mappable Razer mouse, and this is my 60% keyboard. Wait, where's my old laptop? I think this is it. No, don't. And this is my 100% keyboard, which doesn't actually work because I might have scratched the motherboard when trying to replace the thermal paste. Back to the point. If you have a bigger keyboard with a lot of extra buttons that you may never use, well, let's change that by assigning one of these keys to do something in your editing software. Now, there is a way you can program a key or a combination of keys on your keyboard to do an action of your choice. So if you're taking more than 5 seconds on a repetitive action, then you should probably assign it to a keyboard shortcut, which although just saves seconds, definitely adds up in the long run. For right now, I'm going to show you how to find your own editing software shortcuts and how you can actually make your own custom ones. But if you're not interested in that, go to this timestamp. For this example, I'll be using After Effects, but it's pretty much similar on every other software. Make sure you do your research before though. Go up to Edit, then Keyboard Shortcuts, and you'll see all these shiny shortcuts. Some you may use and some you may have never known about. And honestly, if you just mentally note some of these shortcuts that you did not know about, that just may be all that you need. Now, to make your own custom shortcuts that aren't already assigned to something, click on these buttons with your mouse that you'd want for the shortcut. It can either be with just a single key or a combination of Control, Shift, or Alt alongside of it. Now, if you do that, you'll see this thingy pop up down here, which is the command you selected. Then go over here and search up the action that you wanted to simplify, and then just go ahead and drag it onto that command. And there you go. If we try it out, it works. If you want ideas on what to add for your shortcuts, a couple of them that I personally added is like beat marking for the letter X and time searching for Control Shift Q. And then obviously once you're done with this, just click OK to save it all. Now when it comes to using a mappable mouse, it can save you maybe just a few seconds with a simple click, just like the keyboard. But trust me, it adds up over time. I'm personally using this Death Eater Essential from Razer, which really isn't expensive. It's just like 20 bucks on Amazon, but it really has done the job for me for like over a year now. And it's also the same mouse that Technoblade used in its prime. So this mouse has 2 mappable buttons, and by using the software it came with, I was able to put any combinations of shortcuts to it. So what I already set for these 2 buttons is one for pre-composing layers, and this other one for splitting a layer. And then I could also switch around with different setting profiles, so if I'm editing and I'm doing more of something else, or if I just want to use it for gaming. You know, so I could be double clicking to completely destroy you in Minecraft Skyward. Now if you're on a laptop like me and don't even edit with a mouse to begin with, getting yourself a decent one will be a great place to start with. It'll give you a much smoother experience and less thumb cramps.
You don't know me, son!
For method 2, we're going to be using not 1, but 2 screens. Actually though, having an extra screen while editing speeds up the process a lot. Because if you use it the way I do, where I put all my files, and maybe if I'm following a tutorial on the second screen with my actual editing software on the main one, it helps so much because there's less annoying friction from switching between tab and tab, and therefore getting really distracted from editing, which we will actually come to discuss later in method 5. But wait, not all of us has an extra monitor laying around. That is true, and since I'm almost as broke as you, neither do I. But I do have this iPad that's just really tossed around my house where no one even uses it. So I just kind of downloaded software on my computer and on my iPad, which will actually let you pair it to your laptop as a second screen. So I just open the app, connect it to my laptop, and poof, it just goes over the Wi-Fi. But if your Wi-Fi is really that bad, you can also always connect it with a wire. So if you have an extra tablet or an iPad laying around, I would definitely recommend trying this out. Definitely helps me concentrate at least. Also would recommend to buy a mount for it, so you're not holding it up with books like my goofy eye does. This method is very straightforward and you probably already do it. But but actually making useful presets. Make a preset for all the straightforward stuff you add in your edits. Even if it takes you less than 20 seconds to do it over and over and over, just make a preset for it. Because trust me, once you're dropping presets left and right, you'll be saving so much time. And remember, the whole idea of this video is to add a lot of tiny ways we can save time. If it's just seconds, it ends up adding up, and after a long editing session, it will save you much more hours to spare. And funnily enough, this will transition perfectly into our next method. This saves me the most time editing and is pretty much connected to everything else I've covered in this video, which is using a layout extension which offers mappable buttons and other quick shortcuts. Now there's a variety of different extensions you can choose from, but what I personally use is Video Pilot's FX Console since it's free and pretty easy to install. And if you want to check that out, I've also linked it in the description alongside of everything else I've referenced in this video. So basically how it works is once I have it installed, I just click Control Space with After Effects open and it gives me this pop-up where I can easily search up for presets or effects. Take a screenshot of my preloaded frame just in case I need it later to goon. And then probably my favorite part is these mappable presets. There's 10 slots where you can add any presets that you already have made. So you just click one command and then click, and then you have your preset applied. You can add your deep glow settings or text animations, color corrections, or just presets you catch yourself using way too often. For me, my main use for this extension is when I'm editing these videos for you. Sometimes when I want to add a movement animation, a glow effect, or text settings I use in these videos, I'll just have to use 2 clicks and it's applied. This helps me so much because these videos on their own take me hours to make. And just little actions like these save me an indescribable amount of time. And I'm sure this extension will serve you some sort of purpose in your own editing madness too. Okay, this one is super obvious, but honestly not nearly as done as it should be. Actually locking in on your edit. For me at least, the times when I get the most done are when I get into this thing called the flow state. It's when you're so locked in that practically everything else fades away. Time in your mind kind of just disappears. The way how I get to that flow state is pretty simple. I shut down all distractions, no YouTube in the background, no side tabs. Definitely the hardest one is my phone. I used to have just do not disturb on, but now I just completely power it off. Since if I keep it on, I'll pick it up without even realizing, and suddenly 45 minutes are gone from TikTok. So now that's why I just completely power it off. It's the only way I don't get distracted. But obviously if you're interested in this, mess around with it, see what works for you the best. Now if your attention span is really bad, music can be the only thing on in the background at first, but I try to cut it out over time so you're really locked in. It's just you and the software. What I usually do is I'll set a block of time like 45 minutes, an hour, or whatever feels doable. Now during those first 15 minutes will always be the hardest because your brain will just want to get distracted, but if you push through it telling yourself to just focus, it's gonna get easier. It will get easier, and then eventually your brain just gives in and focuses. So that's when you'll hit the flow, and trust me, you'll get way more done in that time than you ever thought you could. The thing is that it was never editing that was actually eating up all your time. It's actually everything around it. Assuming you're a student and you have a family, you've got essays, studying, deadlines, events. By the time you finally sit down to edit, you're already half dead. So that's where today's partner, Skywork, comes in. It's basically an AI assistant that actually listens and helps you out, instead of spitting out so much information that you just get overwhelmed all over again. Looking at you, ChatGPT. I like Skywork for 2 main things: school prep and brainstorming edit ideas. It helps me study faster and stay more organized without feeling like I'm cheating. Because truth is, I'm not. I'm still doing the work efficiently and keeping it true to myself and to my study. Like this one time I had an overdue English assignment with a massive reading passage. So I went ahead and gave Skywork the details and told it to summarize the key points. And with Skywork's powerful deep research, I got everything I needed for this assignment in less than 2 seconds. Then I asked it for examples and an outline, which I can build on my own from that point on. So I am still doing the work, but just way more efficiently. This would have taken me 2 hours, but using Skywork to do it more efficiently took me under 30 minutes. Then another time, I was in a horrible creative block with an edit idea which I was still very confident that could work, but I just couldn't think outside the box. So I asked Skywork to give me 5 different ways that I can execute my idea, and asked it other questions like which one would actually get the views that I was aiming for. And so after 7 minutes of going back and forth, I ended up getting a pretty solid plan and went straight to editing. And by the way, for reference, I normally waste around a few hours just trying to come up with a very good idea. So Skywork really came into clutch. And honestly, that's just the surface. Skywork can do really deep research, generate charts, and make AI slides for presentations. Super helpful if you're both a student and a creator. And it's only $15 a month. For literally the price of a dessert or an Uber, it's gonna save you hours to maybe even literal literal days of every month. How can it get better than that? Oh wait, it can. Because you can use the discount link in the description to get a 20% off. I don't even know how you can make this deal any better. So if you want more time to edit or just get your life back in order, check out Skywork through the link in the description. Awesome, you've watched till the end of this video, so now you know how to edit way much faster than you used to. Well, go ahead and watch this video right here if you want to find out what the best method is to get high quality scenes to put in your videos.